Back Row Ministry, the World Permit, Mr. Marty coming back at you live and direct. Um, Got a quick question about the Lindsey Graham situation, and we know how reckless Lindsey Graham has been talking during this war. Um, he's a big time Zionist. He's been backing the Zionist agenda the whole time, but he's really had no loyalty, especially when it's come to America and the leadership and him feeling like, they should just nuke the hell out of any enemy of Zionists during his time. So we know Lindsey Graham, passed away on the 11th. Funny, I passed away on 7/11. And we talk about 7/11 or 77, but 11 being a master number, 7/11, of course, being a big day of ritual. I won't go deep into the 7/11 piece. I'll do that later. But his birthday is on the 9th. So Lindsey Graham's birthday is on 7/9. And he funnily dies on 7/11. 7/9 or July 9th is 7/9. 79 is the 22nd prime number. He dies on the 11th. He's a big time Mason, so don't get it twisted. But he was talking real reckless over the last couple of weeks, especially about Trump and the Trump crew. A lot of reckless talk, and I think it just finally caught up with him. And they possibly may have had a hand in Lindsey's last days, because Lindsey died at 71 years old. 71 is the 20th prime number. And 7/11 was a day. 7/11, here you see, was a day with 64 numerology. Of course, it had 17 numerology. 17 is the kill code. And also, it was the 173rd day of the year. And 173 is the 40th prime number. That's a prime number right there. I don't think 7/11 is a prime number. Not that I know of. So 7/11, but if we do the reverse 117, yeah, so 117 is not prime, it's just a pentagon number. But we'll do a big piece on 7/11 and why it means so much to certain people when we talk about 7/11. But he died on a day with 64 date numerology, which is important because if you go to Lindsey Graham is 64. So he dies on a date with 64 numerology by the numbers. He also dies at 71 to 20th prime. Lindsey Graham is 71, the way his name is spelled out. And we talk about with these rituals, the energy must match and the mathematical energy must match when they do the ritual. As I said, there were going to be some big time sacrifices following this 250th year anniversary celebration. And we're just starting off with some of these sacrifices. So Graham is the biggest political sacrifice to start the list, but could be more to come. So Lindsey Graham dead at 71. Lindsey Graham's name is 71, so his number was up. Graham itself, 30 and 33, checkerboard boy number, born into the family of checkerboard boys because they carried the 33. And a lot of his talk was about Zionists. He was a big time Zionist. See how Zionist is 40? So Lindsey Graham dies on the 173rd day of the year, which is the 40th prime number. Zionist 40. He was a big time Zionist. Zionist is also 77. He dies on 7/11. 11 times 7, 77. So everything kind of, that energy has to go together. And we are on the last days of the Zionists. So we see one major Zionist, American Zionist, die. How many more are going to go? Like I say, Zionism is about to end. So we'll see some of these Zionists and some of these other politicians. We're going to see a lot of figures being wiped out. We see Rubio on TV trying to remove the international court. Remember, they're trying to do that for Bibi. That's no other reason, because think about what they're saying. Remember, the international court prosecuted a lot of Nazis back in the day. That's what they used the international court for, to hunt down Nazis and prosecute them. So you're saying the same court that was good enough to prosecute German Nazis is not good enough to prosecute other people that commit genocide and war crimes, which they've been doing for years. Suddenly, now that they're after Bibi Netanyahu, the court's no longer any good. And so you see the little game they play. So they're trying to protect Bibi in this because at some point he's going to go to one of these countries, and one of these countries are going to turn him over. The windows getting smaller. He doesn't have a lot of wiggle room. He doesn't have a lot of friends. And any one of these countries he pops up in could decide to turn him over to that international court. And that's the fear. And see how America plays the game. You can't serve two masters. And we got to decide whose team we're really on. But you're starting to see how Zionists do control America. And the Zionist control of America must be removed for us to start controlling Americans again. So that's where we're trying to go. But you see Rubio and the boys trying to tell you the international court is no good. But this is where we are. The first of many to fall. Lindsey Graham taken out by the checkerboard boys for talking reckless. Lindsey was just talking reckless. And people will say, well, he might have had this heart issue, but he just so happens to die at 71, and Lindsey Graham is 71. And let's look at some energies. So we got Zionism. Israel, who he stomps hard for. Israel 44. You see how Israel is 64? Remember, he was stomping hard for Israel. And Israel 64. Lindsey, the number of death. And Lindsey Graham. And Lindsey Graham 64. So you see how that energy matches up. Lindsey Graham 64, Israel 64. Lindsey was doing all the stomping for Israel, and now the stomping for the Zionist cause has cost him his life at 71. Lindsey Graham 71. So you see how these things kind of play out, and the energy for the rituals must play out. But yes, Lindsey Graham. I was surprised when I heard it, but he had just been talking too reckless. He dies 3 days after his birthday 2 days after his birthday on June 9th. He dies 2 days later, 2 days following his birthday, 71 years later, he's taken out by the checkerboard board establishment. So it's politics, TV, sports. You're not safe if you don't say what they want you to say. At some point, if your name matches your number, then they'll decide when your number's up. Hey, he made it past 64, just didn't make it past 71. Mr.